Your highs, your lows, your loves, your losses. This is Your Soul Care Companion podcast, hosted by Marcus and Marion. Your Soul Care Companion podcast, the place where faith, passion, and determination create the greatest stories ever told.
Good day and welcome to Your Soul Care Companion. I am Marion and we have Marcus with us.
Hello.
And we are your spiritual companions, your soul care companions, rather. And today, as a part of our I Am series, we have a very special guest with us, Jameelah Saleem. Say hi, Jameelah.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Jameelah is a wonderful example of a strong, educated Black woman, and ever since the moment that she first came into my life, I sensed an energy about her that just displayed resilience and a tenacity to press through any and every situation of life. In learning more about her, her dedication to her family, her daughter, Amani, and
It's
smile real big
because it's Amani.
Amani. Sorry.
I'll tell you what,
Okay.
Jameelah, tell us more about yourself.
Well, like you said, I'm Jameelah Saleem, a native of Atlanta, and it's true that I'm very dedicated to my family and my daughter, Amani. She's one of the greatest gifts that I've ever gotten in my life. I am committed to people. I love relationships. I love cultivating those relationships, and I truly believe that people are your greatest resource. I enjoy jazz music. I love a spa day, but I also like getting out and rallying for the people. I'm always fighting for the underdog. And I come from a very close-knit, tight-knit family, so that's why relationships are so important to me, because I saw that modeled in front of me all of my life. Mm-hmm. So that's who I am.
Okay. Well, your name is Jameelah Saleem. That's Muslim, right?
Yes, it is. It's an Arabic name.
Okay, so are you Muslim?
I grew up Muslim. My parents divorced in 1989. So from the time I was born until they divorced, we did practice Islam. But I do consider myself still now sort of like a Christlim, Christian Muslim kind of put together. Because I can never forget the foundation that my father laid for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll tell you what, tell us about that, because most people today can't really be comfortable with being a Muslim and a Christian. Because, in our society, if you're not Christian, you're going to hell. If you're not Muslim, you're a
terrorist or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So help us with that.
Yeah. It is what people have to do is open their minds and get to know other religions. Because one of the things that Muslim means is it means that you're submitted to Allah. Mm-hmm. And all Allah means in Arabic is God. Mm-hmm. But people get so stuck on the name Allah and they try to do comparisons with Jesus. And both of those names just mean God. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if I decide to go with my Muslim upbringing or I decide to do my Christian upbringing, I'm submitting to God in both of those ways. And that's the way I look at it. That's how I balance both of those worlds.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you're in love with God.
I am. It's who I am. It's the way that my parents raised me. Now, I'm not on here to be some kind of Christian crusader, like I'm perfect and don't make mistakes. But I know what drives me within my heart.
Okay.
I grew up Kojic.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
And that's Church of God in Christ.
So did I.
And, listening to songs, let's say not Buddha, not Allah, not Krishna, but, Jesus. And as I began to get older, I did learn Allah is just saying God in another language. It's not the name of a God. Mm-hmm. It's just God translated, just like in, Hebrew, it's, Yahweh.
That's right.
So, to a lot of people who come from a very strong and firm Christian foundation, that is very problematic.
Yeah.
But I completely get it, because I definitely align with that. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being true, you have both of these traditions going on. Tell us where your life was around the time of Amani.
I think at the time when Amani was born, I was somewhat disconnected from both of them. Mm-hmm. So my mind was kind of on what I'm doing now, having a good time, hanging out, doing this and doing that. So I was kind of disconnected. But one thing about once you got a spiritual foundation, whether it's Muslim or Christian, you never forget what you've been taught. Mm-hmm. So I still knew God. I still was cognizant of God, but I wasn't deeply connected like that at that particular time.
Interesting. So how did your faith, or let me say your faith groups, your church, the mosque, how did it receive you being pregnant?
Believe it or not, when I got pregnant with Amani, I did not tell my dad until I was about 7 months in. And I thought that...
Real quick. I'm sorry. You didn't tell your dad until 7 months in?
I was 7 months pregnant when my dad found out that I was pregnant. And he found out from my mother.
So wait, he didn't even find out from you?
He didn't know. But I thought he would be disappointed. Because I know how he raised me. I know what he taught me. And I felt like, oh my God, I'm letting my dad down. So when we talked, he said, Jameelah, that's one of the most natural things in the world. He said, having a baby is not the end of the world. He said, it's natural. It comes with the territory. If you're sexually active, that's a possibility. Because I thought he would be like, oh my God, your life is over. But he was very loving about it. On the flip side, at the Church of God in Christ, not my mother necessarily, but in the Church of God in Christ, I got the stares. I got people looking. I got some rejection. I got people kind of like whispering, eyes on me. So there was a different response there.
Wow, interesting.
Wow. So very judgmental.
Even in looks and body language, I didn't have to hear anything, but you know, in looks, body language, you know what people are saying and feeling.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you raise Amani since you have a Muslim background and a Christian background, and you've reconciled it for yourself, but how old is she?
She's 12.
How do you raise this 12-year-old?
What I've done with Amani, as opposed to giving her a religion, I've allowed Amani to kind of go through life with an open mind. Now, I'm not an open minded where you do what you want to do, you say what you want to say, but she's aware of boundaries. But I've given her the permission to have an open mind about things. I've made her aware that God is a loving God. She is aware of the practices of both the Church of God in Christ and both the practices of Islam, because we go to their iftar celebrations during Ramadan. Plus, she was around my dad when he was living, so she's aware of both religions. And what she sees, the foundation of both religions being, is love, and that's who God is. That's what I want her to know. I don't want her to have any notions or crazy expectations. Just know that God is love. And that's what both of these religions, at the end of the day, that's what they teach.
That's good. God is love.
Now, speaking of God is love, let's kind of tiptoe a little bit.
Okay.
Into, the meat of this thing.
Okay.
You love God. Mm-hmm. You clearly have a strong foundation and very connected with God. And you have Amani. Mm-hmm. But it's just you and Amani.
Yes.
So, let's kind of discover, the fact.
Let's roll with
it. You being.
Let's roll
you being
with
a single mom. Let's just put it out there. You're single. I mean, you love God. I mean, has it ever been a time where you praying for a man like God?
Absolutely.
What's going on with this? Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. I started praying for a husband when Amani was really first born. Mm-hmm. Amani's dad, when she was first born, we were never really compatible. And this is just me being transparent. We were never really compatible. Mm-hmm. So when he was when I got pregnant with her, the light kind of came on like, oops, this is not working. But things happen. Mm-hmm. So I started praying for a husband very early while she was small. But my motive for praying for a husband was, I used to pray that I would get one before she was like 5.
Okay.
Because I didn't want people to know that I had her out of wedlock.
Oh.
I wanted somebody to come in while she was small so I could play it off like he was the dad.
Oh.
So you didn't want a husband to have a husband. You wanted a husband to save face.
There you go. Not at that time. I wanted a husband to save face because I was embarrassed in the reception that I had gotten. I said, let me get something to play this thing off. For real.
That's real.
Just to try to cover it up right quick because I was in the Church of God in Christ. And that stuff is looked down upon.
Right.
So I started praying for that reason. Then over time, as she got older and I started to discover me, then I started praying for a man for different reasons.
So tell us, what does this prayer look like? Because I think a lot of women out there do the same thing. They pray for a man. And what is a prayer to Muhammad or a prayer to Jesus? What does it look like? What does it sound like?
You know what? It sounds like me just talking to God. God, send me that one that is for me. But what I at first I was praying really hard for him. God, send him to me. Make him be this way. Make him be that way. He's got to have this. I had this long list of things. But over time, God started revealing to me through people, through reading, through books. You work on you. You fix you. Stop trying to have somebody that's this laundry list of things, and you're not. And so I spent a lot of years trying to get me together. Never will be perfect, but just trying to get myself together so that me and this person can be ready. Because this is one of my beliefs. I believe that in my meantime, God is getting both of us ready. We can't come in with all our stuff. You're going to have something.
Right.
But we can't come together with all our stuff and try to make something be. God is getting both of us prepared in the meantime.
You're listening to Your Soul Care Companion podcast with Marcus and Marion. Join the conversation and follow right now at Your Soul Care Community on Instagram and on Facebook for updates on upcoming events and a regular dose of wisdom, insight, and companion connections.
You are 36 years old, and you got a birthday coming up.
I do. Yep, October.
Okay. So, getting you together, what does that look like as a 36-year-old mother of Amani here in Atlanta? What does that look like?
For me, it's been getting myself together in my mind and my thoughts. I had to start here about what I thought about me. Because for a long time, I had certain thoughts about me. And what I was either not attracting or attracting the wrong thing to me because of my thoughts. So it started here. Also, it starts at stuff like getting my credit straightened out. Because when you bring...
I'm going to pause you for 1 second, because I think you just said something very critical and crucial for everybody to hear. She, when she said it starts here, she pointed at her mind. Her mind. That's self-awareness. So what do you benefit from starting there?
I think every action starts with a thought. And so if I'm gonna do anything of physical, like meeting somebody or approaching somebody or cultivating a relationship, it's all gonna start by what I think about it. If I think I can't have something, then I can't. If I think I'm supposed to have this particular type of man, then that's what I'm gonna get. The law of attraction is serious for me.
Okay.
Because your thoughts bring about certain type of actions and certain behaviors, and you draw certain things to you because of what you think.
That's good. We have so much power in our mind, and I don't think a lot of times we realize how much power we actually have.
Absolutely.
I don't think sometimes we realize how much we work against ourselves.
That's
there
true.
you go.
Okay.
There you go.
You know, when we think thoughts, you know, one thing at an experience that we just recently had, you know, someone said, I understand now why I am where I am because I've been contradicting myself.
There you go.
You know, what I say I want and then what I think are two completely different things.
That's it.
So, you know, that rabbit trail.
That was for free.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you spending this time trying to learn what it is that you want.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times because you brought up a very valid point, Marion. We say that we want something. We make this laundry list, and we don't truly want it. Once we get it, we just want to sleep with it real quick, and then on to the next one,
or be seen with it, or show people I can get somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You brought up earlier motive. Like, what's your motivation?
Your intention.
And what's your intention? And the truth be told, you know, the reason why you didn't get what you want, what you thought you wanted, is because you really didn't want it.
You didn't. You didn't. Yep. Motive is key.
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry, because you said you wanted to start with your mind. What next?
Yeah,
then your credit.
And it's things like credit, getting myself straightened out financially, this is kind of, I don't know, this is funny right here. I say getting solidified in my career, but I'm not talking about I need to be the top boss chick. I'm saying I want to get situated with that where I enjoy what I do every day. Now, I'm not saying that he and I can't build something together. I'm not waiting till I get in my career to get a man. If he comes along and we build something, hey,